Hey everybody, in this episode of Box Office Breakdown, the possession of Hannah Grace gets excised from the top 5. We'll break all that down and more next.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk, we talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Box Office Breakdown.
Oh, hey everybody, we are back. Welcome to Box Office Breakdown. It's been 2 long weeks without...
It feels like forever.
It does.
Forever.
Ladies and gentlemen, of course, this is the show where we look back at the box office that was, and then we like to...
I
wasn't patched in. I messed up.
That was good.
Oh, yes.
Sorry.
How about the box office that lie ahead? I'm Frank Moran.
What's up? Kari Lane here, and I'm live in the chat with all of you. Welcome, everybody who's joining us live.
And I'm Amy Cassandra Martinez.
And making us look good and sound even better and nailing the high notes there.
Yeah.
Anthony in the booth.
I nailed something. That's what it felt like.
There you go.
No.
All right.
Okay.
As always, though, folks, like us on Facebook, give us those 5 stars on iTunes, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and while you're there, give it a thumbs up, or 2, 3, 4, however many you can get on there. And as Kari mentioned, the live chat is up and running. But Kari, if they're watching after we stream live, what can they do?
Oh, yes, Frank, you can all comment down below.
Oh, look at that. So without further ado, we will jump into this past week's box office. Of course, it's been 2 weeks, so we will we'll quickly, when we get to that point, cover the box office bets. Although you that follow on Twitter and Star Drew, I've been keeping everybody up to date there in the Twitterverse. Anthony, do you have any words for Star Drew and his excellent recaps of the weekend's bets?
Yeah, just some quick advice for my boy Star Drew,
Okay.
buddy. I love you. You're the star of my eye.
One eye.
You're the only star in my sky as well. But here's the thing with your tweets at us. If you want us to really feel the burn or any impact of your tweets, I would highly suggest to spell check them, because we can't understand them sometimes. So just, food for thought. Spell check your tweets, and then maybe I'll feel the burn and I'll reach for my burn cream. So there's that.
All right.
mean, I know I didn't lose the first week, but I'm really confused for this week.
Well, we will find that out as we go along there.
I'm excited.
But we will start off with our number 1 here for this past week. And that, of course, still going strong in its second week of release. Ralph Breaks the Internet from Disney. Another $25.7 million, bringing its total to a little over $119 million domestically.
Nice. And we didn't talk about it because it came out last week.
That is correct.
Awesome. So we can talk about it this week.
Oh, my goodness.
Yay! Because I
Kari
saw
Lane.
it today.
Oh, what did you think?
I thought it was okay. I didn't really have any expectations, though. Most of the praise I had heard about it was very high. But I felt the first one left the theater like, yeah, that was really cool. But this one was like, okay. Like, it is a good movie. It's more about heart rather than humor, which is still fine. Stay all the way through the credits. There's at least one joke, just a little bit in, and then kind of another joke at the very, 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 very end. So stay. So many people are leaving. I almost want to be like, don't leave yet. But I didn't, but it's all right. And then, and lots of great representation of internet and things we deal with, which is kind of comedic, like an antivirus person. And that was just funny to see a concept we all know, but represented as not really a human being, but a living thing. So stuff like that I really appreciated, but it was a little bit more like, okay.
Yeah.
So.
It's there's a sequence in the film where Ralph explores being a viral internet star.
Oh.
But
Yeah.
it also is one of those that for me it also kind of broke the film a little bit in the sense where it's like, who's actually making these films? Would anybody care about a video games character doing these? I don't know.
Yeah.
Some of those kind of seem to a little, but I mean, I guess that's one of the things you just have to let go and just accept for the movie. But I was also thinking like the reality of this, like who would be doing this?
I'd be curious who's making it.
Yes.
The concept of a character that you know and love doing it, that I'm like, that might be interesting. I don't know how many people know Wreck-It Ralph though, kind of how popular that game was, but that's okay. Looking in the chat, Ryan says, my favorite parts were with the princesses. I was laughing so much at those moments. There were some really good comedic and very self-aware things about the princesses. Some of it's in the trailer, but some of it there's more So I appreciated that kind of comedy.
It is one of those that I would not be surprised if Disney took the response from the enthusiasm for all those princess segments and just did something with that kind of tone as its own thing.
That'd be kind of cool, though.
Yeah, I would be
And actually
absolutely
them
down for it.
interacting with people that aren't princess, because that's the comedy of someone
Yes.
going, wait, what are you doing here? And what you guys are kind of weird.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I would watch that. It'd be fun. Because how they're represented is fun. And crazy thing too, if you liked their loungewear that they get in, there's already people making that and selling it and cosplaying it.
That's true. If you get Disney's...
Yeah, that quick. Like, even just from the trailer.
Loungewear. Ooh.
It's cute. Like,
I mean, the holidays are here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's as the Disney Magic Kingdoms game that you can play on your mobile phone describes it. You can get those variant clothing choices for some of the characters in that game for the princesses, and they describe it as their comfy wear. They're comfy.
Yeah, because they're like, oh man, these dresses, and what's it like to wear something comfortable?
Oh, guys, this is fantastic. I'm so excited now.
That kind of self-aware humor was really good, but it wasn't like bust up. You just kind of smile. You're like, ha, that was a good. You chortle. It's a little bit like, haha.
Chortle. Mm-hmm. I say that all the time.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I like it because it's such a weird word.
It is an untapped field because Disney does have that. Disney Junior has Sophia the First. Mm-hmm. I watched plenty of that, but it's where they bring in the princesses, which is always kind of cool to see them in a different context. But they never did anything where you see a wide variety of all the Disney princesses teaming up in various different combinations.
And then how they react to one of them.
That's true. There you go.
I won't spoil it, but yeah, that was a good joke too. I was like, oh.
So
our audience did that.
Yeah, so it was. It's worth. I thought it was worth seeing. I did not mind my time in the movie at all.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say like don't see it. It wasn't. Definitely, first one's way better. But what did you think?
It's been a while since I've seen the first one, so I'd have to go back.
I was just more remembering how I felt when I left.
Yeah, I mean, it is characters that you did love from the first film, other than Ralph and whatever her name
Penelope.
is. But yeah. Don't get focused as much. And so, if you wanted to see some of the other supporting characters, you're not really going to get that much out of that. It's going to be a lot of majority of new characters you're going to meet this film. Yeah. For good or for bad.
Yeah.
Coming in number 2, Dr. Seuss's The Grinch. Also sticking around for a while at the box office and doing surprisingly well. $17.7 million. Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
I've seen that film. It was okay. No, actually, It's the one thing I don't like about it is Pharrell Williams' narration. It's so light. And
Did it make you happy?
It's just, it just didn't feel like. Nicely done.
Thank you.
It doesn't have that gravitas like the Boris Karloff reading does in the first one. So you want something in that. I think his is just too. I don't know. Just he doesn't seem as invested in the story. It just doesn't seem like a right fit for me.
When did you see this? It was more recent, like within the last 2 weeks?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Because see, now I'm like, maybe I will go see it just because it is officially December.
I know. Yes. Now it's
like,
appropriately timed.
Yeah. Like I'm all in now. Holiday. Let's do this.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I will.
What about Nutcracker?
No.
Okay.
Oh, you don't want to see those
I might get around
4
to that.
realms?
Yeah.
No, I'm good with. Even one is too many, I would say.
Ooh.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's so the Grinch, it's fine. They have to
Is there
extend some of
anything
the story.
kind of new to it though?
I did not see the Jim Carrey. I've never seen the Jim Carrey version of the Grinch.
Wow, that one's
Yeah.
actually really fun.
Just to compare how they elongated that story to how they've elongated this one to see if there's a lot of stuff that kind of matches up. There is no Christine Baranski, sexy who in this film.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
This film for me, one, I don't remember them really promoting it as much a while ago. I'm like, but then when they did, I was like, why? Why do we need this one?
I don't know. It does feel by the end of the movie, and certainly there's no spoilers, but it does see, because we all know the story of the Grinch.
Yeah.
But it does feel like at the end, you're like, are they trying to hook up Cindy Lou Who's mom and the Grinch? Are they trying that? That's right. I question that by the end of the movie, because it feels like...
Well, crap. That makes me interested now.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like, okay.
But coming to number 3, we've got Creed 2. Going strong at the box office. They're $16.8 million. Amy Cassandra Martinez saw this film. Amy, How did you do? in this one?
You guys, I loved it so much. It's hard to talk about movies that you really enjoy because there will be people out there that will say, well, yeah, but like this one part, but I don't care. I thought it was freaking fantastic. I left there, I think I saw it a couple of days before. Okay, I don't remember when I saw it, but it was pretty much right away. And so it's been a while, but I remember leaving and being like, dang, I feel so inspired. And I think that the characters that, they continued using, obviously, from the previous Creed, they did a really great job really developing them some more. And obviously the action sequences are fun and you're just like in there and you're rooting for him. I loved it. I love Rocky movies. I love the Creed movies. I think they did fantastic. And just 2 thumbs way up.
Now, just in case someone has never seen the first Creed, do they need to for the second?
I would say yes.
Okay.
Yeah, just because, especially if you're coming just from seeing Rocky, it's like, it'll make sense, duh, but you need to get yourself attached to these characters a little bit more. And there are some surprises along the way.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, although in a sense, you could probably just watch this one because I feel also that Creed, Adonis' story, it's kind of the similar journey from the first film.
But the characters, like if you for some reason are not a Michael B. Jordan fan or a Tessa Thompson fan, you're like, okay, I don't care about these people. Well, first of all, why are you watching this movie, I guess? But let's say you're just like not attached to them at all. You need to see where their storylines are so you can really connect yourself to them.
There you go. You had to
I
really
just don't
plug
want to
in.
watch them all.
There you
That's
go.
all.
Oh, that's all right. It's I did like what they did with the Drago family. Some nice stuff with that too.
Yeah.
It was interesting to see what Stallone's idea was for the film. He wanted to really explore like steroid use, but I'm glad they did not go that way.
Yeah.
And they changed it so the director and another person that helped write the script kind of went a different direction as well too. So I'm glad that thanks. That's an interesting idea, Sly, but we want to go a little bit different direction. I think the film is better for that. And there's been a lot of stuff in the media there about Stallone saying, "This is it. This is my farewell to the Rocky character."
Yeah.
And if this is the last showing, he's not as much in the film as you would think. And it's certainly not his story. I felt like his story was much better served in Creed than this one. This one, he's around for some moments, but
Yeah. And honestly, I feel like maybe even Creed could have been his last one, the way that everything happened, with his character. But I'm glad that we got him more.
Oh, no, for sure. Yeah, I mean, he's always fun to watch, and it's a cool dynamic.
Yeah.
But to have him, I feel like the longer you keep him in, the more you're going to have to try to, do something with him. And I feel like it's ended up going to be what happened with Burgess Meredith in the Rocky series. It's a point he's going to have to die. He's going to have to die. So let's leave him just on a high note.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, still definitely worth seeing. And heck, even if you're not a huge boxing fan, if you just like, it's still got that underdog feel.
Well, because I started watching boxing matches after I left. I was like, boxing. Maybe I could be really into this. Yeah.
And how do you feel so far? You really in?
I really do like it.
That sweet science?
Yeah, the sweet science. Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's how they describe boxing.
Oh, yeah. I love me that sweet science.
Well, go check out that movie, not the movie, but the TV show, The Contender, if you want to see that.
Could have been a contender.
Yes, it's a Mark Burnett production, the guy who did Survivor. He did it back in NBC early to mid 2000s, and now they brought it just back here again on Epix.
Ooh.
Yes. So, but it's just these guys that are up and coming boxers.
Oh,
That's cool.
Yes, and you watch. I mean, so you really get invested in their stories, their backgrounds, and then you follow their journey into the ring, and you see who comes out victorious and who doesn't.
That sounds amazing.
It's cool.
Report back, Amy. Let us know.
And
Yes,
I will say it's a great theme song.
It's a what?
It's a great theme song for that
Do you
show.
want to sing it?
Yes.
No.
Yes, you do.
It's
Come
not,
on.
There's
Yeah,
no
let's-
words to it. It's just music.
So do it.
No. But I will say, though,
Can't
when
tease
it does
us.
kick in during the boxing matches, you're like, all right, yes, okay.
Is it the Rocky? They can't do that.
No. It's
Okay,
got their own,
I'm like licensing. Hello.
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 Hello. That's it. All right, coming in at number 4, Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. From Warner Brothers, another
Nice.
$11.2 million. Has I know that I've seen this.
Not yet.
No, Amy's been on death's door.
Pretty much.
Yes.
Yeah, for the last week. But I've seen a lot of other things we'll touch on later. Yeah, I don't know if I'm actually going to make it to the theater for this one. Not sure.
Yeah. I feel like many people are in your boat. They're like, I will see it at some point, but I'm not feeling that compelling need to see it now.
I
I'm
love
not in
Harry
a
Potter.
rush.
Yeah.
Let it come to you in its own
Yeah,
in its own time.
exactly.
There you go.
Well, and I don't know how you guys feel about this, but having been away from the theater for so long now, I'm like, no, I need to get back on track. So what's coming out this week, next week? I can't like go back too far.
Well, it's right.
You know?
You're lucky. There's really nothing coming out this week, so you've got.
I know.
Yeah.
You've got time to go and see it now.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I really need to get to see Wreck-It Ralph or whatever.
There you go.
Ralph Breaking the Internet.
Ralph,
That one.
Ralph wrecks the internet. But I
Yes.
said Wreck-It Ralph.
Wreck-It
I was
Ralph
like,
2.
yeah, sure.
They
Yeah.
come back again. They wreck things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And coming in at number 5 is Bohemian Rhapsody from Fox, another $8.1 million, doing incredibly well for Fox.
I did see that one. I saw that over Thanksgiving with family and really enjoyed it. So I very much liked how you talked about it as well, Amy. Did you see it yet?
I did see it.
Okay,
You
I
don't like the
forget.
way I talked about it? That's cool.
I don't remember.
That's
No, I'm
cool,
kidding.
Kari.
I enjoyed it a lot. It definitely is. I like how it's a little bit more of like historical with a little bit of fiction, because there were some articles I read after, and like how the timing of certain things happen is not exactly how it happened in real life, but for dramatic purposes in the movie, that's fine. I'm like, whatever. If you told someone a month before it happened or after, same difference. Like, I really liked Queen music, so it was so fun to see how the songs came about, and that was just like, that made me so happy. I've also seen Queen perform twice. So with one was Adam Lambert, and the other one, I'm forgetting who they had sing.
A hologram of Freddie
No,
Mercury?
it was. I don't want to say the wrong name because then it'll be, but it was somebody else too.
Let's
From
say a
another
name.
band.
Pick a name.
It was
Frank
like
Moran.
Paul.
McCartney.
No,
Stanley.
like Rogers or Waters or something like that.
Paul Dano.
That doesn't sound right. Anyway, so I really like the music and everything. Something I really appreciated too is it's kind of a joke in the movie, but I'm like, but it's true. The lead guitarist, they kind of joke like, oh, you should change your hair. And he's like, this is my hair. I'm never going to change it. And you're like, that's exactly what his hair looks like today.
Yeah.
It's just white. And so like stuff like that I really appreciated. I did like the Michael Myers cameo. Well, not really a cameo, but his role.
Yeah. When I didn't recognize, I was like, what? Until here. Thank you guys.
Yeah. And it's a lot of the music, so I think it really makes you appreciate the music. I love how much they had of the Live Aid concert towards the end. And on Twitter, just like look up Bohemian Rhapsody. There's a few different, I think a few people have tweeted. They put the actual footage with the movie footage side by side. Oh my gosh, how much they recreate it also makes you appreciate the movie so much more of how hard because it's one of those, it's not like photocopying it, but they emulate it so well. So there's that little room of adjustment because it's like, well, it's not clearly not them, but the actors they chose for the band look so much like the guys. I thought they did great on casting for that. So
I still don't know how you feel about that ending the film, though.
20
Yeah,
minutes.
because maybe I don't have the context for how impactful that performance was when it occurred, but it feels like a weird way to end the movie.
I'm like, I wish I reread that article right away. But I think that was the last largest performance they ever did. Like, I think they did a little bit more after, but that was like towards the end. And I think they did a little bit of recording, but that was more as he was getting more and more sick. So then they weren't doing as much. So it was that big of a deal for them too to be there. So it was interesting. Like I'm sitting there going, wow, this is going on for a really long time, but I was in it. I just was more curious about the people I was with going, I hope they're okay with this, because it was on for a while. And when We Will Rock You played, there were people in my audience behind me who did sub clap, and I was like, yes, it made me so happy. And I did it a little bit too with them. I was like, yay. Anyway,
It's like a little concert in the
it
theater.
was.
Yeah.
That's why I liked it too. And yeah, acting is great. I loved everybody.
Yeah, it's yeah, you know, the more I keep looking back at Freddie Mercury, I guess I get more critical of how they addressed Rami for this, because like his hair doesn't quite match, or that mustache, I don't know.
It was enough, and I watched some other clips too of how he talked, because I don't think I'd ever seen Freddie Mercury on an interview before. So then I was just curious of like, is that how he talked? Is that how he held his mouth? Because that was distracting for a bit at the beginning, but it's like, no, that's what he did.
Yeah, I mean,
And,
I don't, his preparation, I
think
nothing
it's
against that, but
really good.
there was talk of at one point when the early development of this of doing the film where Freddie ends up dying like midway through the film, and then it's like, how does a band go when probably their most prominent person has been removed? And part of me goes like, I almost kind of more interested in that story than what we've got, because I feel like, yeah, because I again,
Well, it was already like sad as is, or I don't know, did you feel sad watching it all?
Yes.
Yeah,
he
okay,
was
yeah.
dying.
And then knowing after he's all,
knowing that, like, it wasn't gonna be like, woohoo, everyone's fine kind of situation. Kind of the same thing as Straight Outta Compton, where you're like, you know stuff's gonna happen, but it's also like how they get there and what happens, like how they show that moment and what happens after. And I feel like with Bohemian Rhapsody, they kind of cheated us in a way. It's like, oh, look, wow, beautiful. You're there at the Live Aid concert. Bam, it's over. Hey, okay, bye. Thank you for coming. They rushed it. The ending, I would say, they did.
I was okay with it, but I get what you mean of it's an interesting spot to end. I would have wanted maybe a little more information too at the end, like
Not
or
just
more
like
photos
reading
of
it.
them.
You're like, oh, okay, here's like what could have been 10 minutes in the actual script instead of like write all of this down. You know, fair.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. Wise words, Amy Cassandra
Thank
Martinez.
you so much.
Yes. Now we had our box office bets, and the first one was for Ralph Breaks the Internet. So we did our box office bet on that one.
What? I
You
thought
what?
it was Robin Hood.
Oh no, actually no, it was Robin Hood. My bad. That was yes, which
Oh, I
didn't
think
even.
I actually won. Though.
I did not lose, is what I know.
Yeah, yes.
I was really scared.
No, that was our boy Anthony. It was so close between Kari and Anthony. It
Right,
was
it was-
$200,000 separated them.
Oh, so wait,
Yes.
who won though?
Basically,
Who
one
would've been the
is
closest?
Neil. Neil with the deal sealed it right in there because it
Ooh.
was ended up. Or excuse me, no, I'm looking at his other bet because Neil did not bet that week.
Ah,
But yeah, the total it was $14.2 million. So you were at you were 24. Anthony was at 4 by $200,000. You ended up winning. You ended up beating Anthony. So Anthony will have to go see Robin Hood. There you
I
go.
still want to see it.
But Kari Lane won the, or not Kari Lane. I'm getting
Hi.
words, people. Amy Cassandra Martinez won for Robin Hood.
I won.
Yay.
You did with $13 million.
That's great.
There you go.
Oh, farthest away. I understand.
Yes.
I was hearing that to me. I'm like, yeah, cool. I'm like,
And then, of course, this week was Possession of Hannah Grace.
Yes.
Did not do very well at the box office. Came in 7th place with a whopping total of $6.5 million. There you go. So with that, looks like Kari and Anthony will both be seeing this film with the bets of $12 million each. Amy is our winner at $7 million.
Holy crap.
Look
what?
at that.
Yay.
Yes. So nicely
Feels good
done.
to be a winner, guys.
There you go.
yeah.
So, Anthony, got a lot of work to do, buddy. Yep.
Silence is golden.
Sorry about that.
Okay, his mic is like, nope,
I'm
nope.
hoping my mic sounds better now. As this is my losing speech.
All right.
It's starting now. Ready?
Okay.
Damn.
Have like
That's it.
That was it.
All right. I was
You
gonna
can
say we
feel
should
the
have, like,
emotion in
background
that.
music.
Speech has been concluded.
I
Yes,
was
go
going to
ahead.
say, in the chat, Neela J says, Robin Hood has very bad graphics. The acting and action scenes are good, though. Oh, all right.
Really selling me on it. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah,
There
I've
you go.
heard really bad things.
I feel like I'll go check it out, maybe. But,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Do
you
it.
know.
I
Yeah,
wanna see
report
it.
back.
Hey, thanks. All right.
You're welcome.
Okay.
I know you need our support. Here.
Is it okay if I go see that movie, guys?
Yes.
All right, cool. All right, I'll go
You
see
have
it
our
then.
permission.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Internationally, Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald led international box office for its third week in a row, conjuring $40.2 million in 80 markets. That brings the overseas total to $385.3 million, and the global total to over $500 million. Hey, there you go. Crazy Rich Asians, though, which did so well for Warner Brothers, and we're going to be working on the sequel as well. It was dead on arrival in China, though, and it just got $1.2 million over its opening weekend,
Yeah.
which seemed, but understandably so. You're going to a market where the idea of having an all-Asian cast not very much of a novelty.
Well, also, like, I know some people were saying that this kind of story is more, it appeals more to people that are Asian here in America.
Yes.
So it's like Americanized.
Asian American experience.
Thank
Yes.
you. Yes. So, still, it's an amazing movie.
Yes.
I loved it.
Bohemian Rhapsody, as we're talking about, though, it $37 million weekend over the international box office to bring its total to $375.1 million. So it is now the Freddie Mercury biopic is now becoming the market's all-time top musical in Korea.
Whoa.
Look at that! Way to go, Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
It is topped in the UK. It is topped Les Mis at $54.7 million. So
That's cool.
there you go.
Wow.
Suck it, Les Mis. Your time. There you go.
Wow.
Ralph Breaks the Internet was the big UK newcomer, taking a clear number one. It is tracking ahead of its sequel, ahead of its predecessor, and still has about half of the overseas markets still to come. The full weekend total was $33.7 million in 27 markets for an international total of $87.7 million after 2 weeks and a global total of $207 million. And The Grinch is it went into 20 more markets, lifting it to $64.8 million this past weekend with a global total of $268.3. And Venom. Venom.
Hey,
Oh, no.
I love that song.
Oh,
It's exactly like
Wait, I
that.
can sing again.
Num num venom.
that
Num num.
Every-
movie's just, oh.
It's just like that.
Great job, everyone.
Yeah.
See,
See, we are a band.
Yeah.
and it's
Someone
fourth.
said my name.
Hey, what's up, dude?
That's so sad. It's its fourth Chinese weekend there. It's still holding the number 2 spot with a total of $262 million. There you go, for a full overseas total to date of 631.7 and a worldwide total of $844 million. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. So there you go. And of course the Possession of Hannah Grace, it did not so well for its overseas rollout. $4.1 million in 17 markets. So there you go. It got $1 million from Mexico in 467 screens. So there you go. Nobody's really wanting to see The Possession of Hannah Grace. I've heard nothing but bad
Well, they
reviews.
had also no advertising for that, pretty much.
Not until like really
Right
close.
before, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure even Pretty Little Liars fans would be like, oh, hey, but maybe they're just not feeling it right now. It's like, December, bam, here we are.
Yeah, wrong season.
Yeah. That's got to be part of it, I would say.
Sure.
Who wants to be scared at this time of year? You
Or
want,
you
can
do
watch
a
Krampus.
horror Christmas movie and watch Anna the Apocalypse.
which I've heard mixed things about.
Most my friends who are into horror like it. But it is very low budget, was one of the NPR things they were saying. One of the reviewers was totally okay with that, and the others said, oh, you can tell, and whatever. I shrugged. For those listening, like, whatever. Come on,
And I
give some
shrugged.
love.
I shrugged. We've got one, well, it is, as I mentioned, kind of a slow week this week, this upcoming week at the box office. So I did find one film that's coming out here. I don't know exactly how wide of a distribution it's going to have, but I figured we need to have something to bet on. So I went into Mary Queen of Scots
Yes, that trailer looks cool.
with Margot Robbie. So it should be interesting.
Yes.
I mean, for me, I was like, I picked it because I'm always interested in that time period and that story. So I'm like, all right, let's see how it goes. From Focus Features. So Amy's super excited.
Have you watched the trailer?
I've seen the trailers. She looks. They do a really good job making her look different.
Yes.
Wow. Please, Focus Marketing, make sure that gets on the promotional material.
No, it's
we go.
honestly. I mean, that time period. I'm not a huge fan of it, but if it's done nicely and if it's engaging, I'm there.
Have you watched either Elizabeth or Elizabeth the Golden Age?
No, I've seen Pride and Prejudice,
All right. Well, there you go.
which I
So
freaking
close.
love.
So close.
I liked Elizabeth, the first one. I don't think I saw the second, but it's gorgeous. Like cinematography
Yes.
on that.
It is incredible.
I'll give it. I mean, hey, if I am able to watch a movie this weekend that is not all the elements that I want to watch, then I will for sure watch this one unless I lose the bet.
So,
Yeah, right. Yes.
semi-quick pause because a lot of people are talking about a movie called After, which is fan fiction of One Direction. Because it's
The band?
it's one of those. How Twilight is fan fiction.
What is happening right now?
Okay.
50 Shades of Grey.
50 Shades of Grey.
Twilight.
Yes.
'Cause
50
I-
Shades of Grey
yeah.
is essentially fan fiction of Twilight.
Yes.
Okay. So then After is like fan fiction of, I want to say it was like One Direction, like a boy band, like one of the
How do you-
person. And some people are really not happy about it, and because either they're fans of the band and they don't like the guy being portrayed that way, or other
Harry
people.
Styles.
Hold on, we're gonna go.
So
look it
I
up.
never
I
realized
know
that
something.
50 Shades was fanfic for Twilight?
Yes.
Because it seems like that seems weird to me.
There are moments of 50 Shades in Twilight. So, okay, long
But
story
is
short.
there a
So
third
that-
member that she has to? Is she torn between two guys
That kind of makes sense.
in 50 Shades?
I mean,
This lady wrote 50 Shades like on her commute to work on her BlackBerry, so I can. She was literally thinking about sex the whole time.
Wow.
And then include Twilight into the mix at the time of writing,
I think
That
I'd be.
inspired her to write 50 Shades. There's certain like
or inspired her to think about,
yeah, because
whole
between
time,
Edward and
every
Bella.
commute.
I honestly would be more interested in the movie of the making of 50 Shades, the novels, with a woman just sitting there on the subway, just. Oh yeah.
Stop it, Frank. Oh my gosh.
I would be more interested in that movie.
I actually just watched
Yeah,
all the Twilights within the last month, and I've seen
Why?
2 of the 50 Shades because I wanted to.
I saw the first 50
Yeah,
Shades
it's
with
about
my
time.
friend, and we watched and just laughed at it.
Oh yeah, no, it took me a while
Yeah.
to get through that one. I just need one more 50 Shades movie, and then I'm caught up.
But I
So
mean,
proud of myself.
The only Twilight one that is even remotely interesting is the last
fourth
one.
Yes, One Direction Harry Styles. The novel itself originated as a popular fan fiction dedicated to One Direction singer Harry Styles, who inspired the character of Hardin Scott in the Todd's books.
Hardin Scott?
That's yes.
Okay.
Really?
not his
After has
name.
become part of the best-selling 5-book series.
Oh, good for them.
The original fan fiction version has garnished more than 1.5 billion reads on the online platform Wattpad, W-A-T-T pad, where the author published it. So then they're doing it, but a lot of people are... Anyway, they're upset because it's an unhealthy relationship promoted in the movie, like abusive and stuff, which technically you could argue for Twilight as well, but people are all talking about that.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yes.
I'm sorry, that has not been on my radar, and I feel like I've been better for it.
It was on like one of the Twitter trending something, so I saw it.
All
but
right.
yes.
Great.
Yes.
So, of course, we've got our one film we'll be doing our box office bet on, Mary Queen of Scots. So next week, though, we will have some other films that we finally started beefing up towards our Christmas release date. So we're gonna have Into the Spider-Verse. We're gonna have Aquaman.
Yes.
Many more films coming your way. So we'll have more
Mary
films
Poppins
to choose
is coming
from.
out soon.
Yes. So it will be very cool.
Immortal Objects.
Immortal Engines.
Engines, thank you. Yes, that one too.
So many great holiday films just around the corner. But for this, we'll go back to the olden days of England for this next box office bet.
right.
But in the meantime, before we get into our next week's top 5, what we think of our bets for Mary Queen of Scots, we'll do a look back, a box office rewind, if you will. Thank you, Amy.
You're welcome.
About somebody who's going to be in one of these upcoming films, which is just the one film, which will just be Margot Robbie.
Yay!
Look at her, the lovely and talented Margot Robbie. We've got her top 5 films here. Coming in number 5, her top 5 live action opening weekend. So we rate that. Not necessarily the ones that did the best overall. We're just looking at her opening weekends.
How much dollar bill they make?
That's right. And coming in number 5 was Whiskey Tango Foxtrot from Paramount back in 2016. Tina Fey starring
yes.
film. Yes.
Yeah.
That was-
7.4.
That was really good. It was surprisingly good.
Because it's more of a is it more of a dramatic?
It's a
thing
drama.
for
Yeah, it's
Tina?
not so much a comedy, but yeah, it's more
Dramedy?
of a drama.
Okay.
Yeah, and I honestly can't remember most of the plot, but I
Perfect.
remember it being like, wow, you actually surprised me. This is really good. Yeah, highly recommend it though.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Number 4, The Wolf of Wall Street from Paramount, 2013,
Yes.
$18.3 million its opening weekend.
One of my favorites for sure.
Really?
It's a really good
I
one.
love Wolf of Wall Street.
I don't know favorites, but really, really good.
Yeah, Leo, Jonah, Hill.
I
Yes.
love that movie for the fact that every time I watch it, it makes me want to make a lot of money and snort a lot of coke. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I don't know.
You lost me at the Coke part, but you had me at the beginning.
You're more of a Pepsi person?
Yes. No.
There you go.
Never.
See, Frank got it. Thank
That's
you,
right.
Frank.
You got it, Anthony. I don't know. That's a movie that I was like, it's fine, but I felt that need to rewatch it, though.
What? That's one of them where I'm like, you have to watch it again.
Really? So I can just see Matthew McConaughey.
It's very inspiring.
It is.
Okay.
And then the whole the scene where Leo's just like he just loses his whole inhibitions and everything.
All right.
It's fantastic. I love that movie.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you, Amy.
you're welcome.
Number 3, Focus from 2015 from Warner Brothers, $18.68 million. That was one with Will Smith, wasn't it? Where they do the heists and stuff.
Yes.
Yes.
Didn't see that
Didn't
one.
see that one either.
No.
No wrong.
Number 2, The Legend of Tarzan from Warner Brothers back in 2016, $38.5 million.
I actually did enjoy that one. I was very confused by how they advertised it at first. Like, how are you telling this story? But then when I watched the movie, I was like, it was fun.
It was just fine. I mean, I wanted to like it more because I've always had a soft spot for Tarzan.
Aww.
Yeah, but it's just, it was fine. It wasn't terrible, but it was also didn't make me go like, yeah, they got it finally.
The trailer made it more exciting than it was, but then the trailer made you confused of why does Tarzan have clothes? Why is he clean shaven? And why? Like, and then you go, oh, and they explain the movie.
You had to go back. Go back. We got to go back, Marty. I did a marathon of Back to the Future films last night.
You did?
Yes.
Wait, what?
Just a marathon of the Back to the Future
You did?
films.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But, it just makes you realize how it's a nice trilogy, but the first one is by far the star. There's some bad acting.
And then
in
the second one.
I actually really like the third, if only because it's a Western.
Oh, the
that's
third
fun.
one
Yeah.
hurts me.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
In some ways, like, at least the acting's a little bit better in the third. Like, the stuff in 2015
Stop
where they're
it.
checking out Marty's...
Stop
there's some really bad
I
acting.
love that one.
we have a couple people pointing out you're not mentioning a voiceover one that she had.
Oh, yes, of course she had Peter Rabbit, but we usually for this, we skip over the voiceovers. We just do live action appearances. So, yes, there's Peter Rabbit, but we will forgo the the voiceover stuff. And number 1, Suicide Squad from Warner Brothers back in 2016 as well, $133.6 million.
Excuse me, it's Oscar-nominated Suicide Squad. Thank you.
Oh.
I mean, Oscar-winning Suicide Squad.
Oh, boy, yeah. That's a rough watch.
No.
Yeah, yes.
It was fun.
No.
But
That movie is trash.
No,
It's steaming
if you
pile
know
of
like
trash.
nothing about those characters, I would say it's fun because I know like very little about them, so I had no attachment or back info on anybody. So I was like, okay, I'm more of a Marvel person.
If you know nothing about those characters, at the end of the film, you still know nothing about those characters.
I still liked it. It's fun. It's a fun, wild ride.
You have Batman who lost his parents in an alley with a man who shot his parents right in front of him.
Okay.
Go into an alley to apprehend Deadshot, who he knows is carrying weapons. It seems with his daughter right there in front of him. It seems the weirdest place for Batman to try to abduct him right in front of his daughter when he knows it could potentially turn into a gunfight in an alley. I was like, that right there was like, come on now. Mm-hmm. Made no sense why Batman would choose to do it right there at that moment.
Ryan in the chat, I'm with you. Ryan says, I like Suicide Squad.
Is that the only person saying that?
That's the only person who's liking it, but I see you. Metaphorically.
That's okay. You guys
And
see
it's-
eye to eye.
Yeah.
And I'm glad
it's
you
all
have
right
each other.
to hate it, too, if for those of you who didn't appreciate it.
There are better representations of the Suicide Squad in the DC animated universe.
Fair enough. DC animated, off the charts. Their live
Yes.
action they need to work on.
And speaking of that, they're having James Gunn come in to at least write, if
Yeah.
not direct, perhaps. That's still waiting to be decided.
Cool.
But I don't know if I really want to see a James Gunn Suicide Squad film.
Oh, I think I do.
I mean,
I love
I would
James
have no
Gunn.
doubt that it would probably be a better film. But do I want to see... I don't know. I'm just so not jazzed with the Suicide Squad concept. And it's like, I've already seen them. And we've talked about this before, where James
Yeah.
Gunn has done Guardians of the Galaxy. It's already been a gang of misfits coming together. I've seen that. Let's see James Gunn do something else in the DC universe.
Fair enough.
But regardless, we'll be at least seeing a Suicide Squad, at least written by James Gunn.
Sky Patterson liked it as well. But says, Suicide Squad, poor thing. Warner Brothers put it through the shredder. I like the film. And Cassandra D, I love Suicide Squad for what it was.
I love your name. It's a great name.
All right, before we do our box office bets for Mary Queen of Scots, it is time for us to predict what our next week's top 5 will be. When you only have Mary Queen of Scots really coming into the battleground, and I don't have an idea of how many films it's going to be, screens it's going to be released on. It could be released on 10 million screens. It's still not going to crack the top 5.
You don't...
No,
Mary Queen of Scots?
no.
Not even past Bohemian Rhapsody. If it goes down, even like math, 50%, so like 4.
How interested are you in seeing Mary Queen of Scots?
I am not your like average person.
I don't think
I
she's...
guess.
Who's the target audience? I want to say my mom's probably definitely... She loves history and
True.
loves the British monarchy history stuff. Like, she's super into it. I like anybody who likes period pieces. That got me on it, and also period pieces where I don't know a whole lot about it. Then I'm like, ooh, okay, I'm curious. I want to see it, and it looks kind of exciting. So.
I'm interested in seeing it, but that doesn't mean I think a lot of people are going to feel the same way. I see that easily coming in way out of the top 5 for sure. I could see it in a 7th or 8th place.
Okay. Ken Jack pretty much said everything will be about the same.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, the Bohemian Rhapsody is doing so well.
That's a bigger. Also, I'd say Queen is a more widely recognizable.
I could see
entity.
that possibly staying and Fantastic Beasts going underneath it. I could see them possibly swapping 4 and 5, but I don't see any of what is currently in the top 5. Any of them not being on the top 5 next week.
So you think 6th or 7th?
I'm thinking 7 for Mary Queen of Scots. Dude, maybe even 8.
Okay.
I imagine this is going to be like a good.
It's a trap.
Like a $3.2 million film. There you go. Was that an ant for my bet?
It's a trap.
Who knows?
It's a
Did he-
trap? What's
don't
a
tell
trap?
them.
Why? I don't want to have to watch
All right.
this.
So, anybody else disagree in terms of their box office predictions for next week?
No, it's probably gonna stay the same. It's one of those I'd want it to do better, but you're probably right. This is gonna be more at like the indie theaters that the people who like those. That's who's gonna go see it too. But probably not quite as widespread.
Amy's excited just about the prospect of seeing this
No,
film.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Was the word terrified about to come out?
Yes. Yes. Also
No,
because
terrified.
these numbers are gonna just like they're baby numbers.
The baby. Well,
So
no,
we're
they don't
getting
have
to
to be baby
points.
numbers. You can go big. Go
you,
big.
You go big.
Go
No.
big or go home, Amy.
I don't want.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, it is time now to do our box office bet. We're doing Mary Queen of Scots with Margot Robbie and a few other people as well. There, David Tennant is
Saoirse
in here as well.
Ronan.
Yes,
Get some of
Saoirse
them
Ronan's
Doctor
in
Who
there.
fans.
There you go.
I mean. Nice.
It's 2
I mean, he's
hearts.
already married the Queen once, so. So, of course.
Oh my.
Oh my.
gosh.
Great. Sorry. When I went to see The Favorite, which that one looks fun
I'm
too.
getting
That's kind of
confused with
dark.
that one too.
Confused.
Because it feels like the same kind of time period.
Same kind of time period, very different tone and different
Yeah.
characters,
Emma
people. But yes,
Stone.
yes. And the woman, I'm blanking on her name, but she's
Oh, Rachel.
Well, Rachel
Rachel
Weisz.
Weisz.
And then the one who's the queen, she's in a lot of British stuff and really good. So great in the chat says, when I went to see The Favorite, 1/3 of the audience were elderly, mostly walkers and canes. I've seen most walkers and canes I've seen in a theater at once. Mary Queen of Scots is likely going to skew old. Fair.
Yeah. That does not mean it's not going to be a good movie, though.
Yeah, no, it's just who's the demographic who's excited
That's
for
true.
it.
All right, so with this hot
Janet Mouse says 11.
Janet, I love the world that you live in. That is so great. There you go. Amy is
Amy has
excited
big
about
ol'
this.
laugh.
I think she's onto
like,
something.
"Oh, no!"
Seriously. I think she's onto something. Listen to Janet. Amy.
Scared.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
Star Drew says 2 or just 1.
Oh, are you changing your number, Frank?
Right.
What?
Did the 11 throw you off?
Who knows? Who knows? Don't be looking. Oh, have you already typed your number in?
Yes.
Oh, I like that. Carrie, have you typed yours in?
Yep.
All right, Anthony, do you have yours?
Yes, I do, Frank.
All right. Then let me just type that in real quick. Oh, now I'm scared. I'm scared now. Oh, all right.
I'm terrified.
Here we go. All right.
Sky Patterson went really high. Zaya Spilou says 4.
Okay. I've got mine as well. Anthony,
Okay.
we'll start with you, good sir.
I'm going with a cool 6 million.
All right, 6. Look at that. Amy Cassandra Martinez. With those eyes that are bugging out of her head, like, what am I getting myself into?
1.7.
Oh, I love it. I
Stop
love
it,
it.
Frank,
No, that's great. That's great. I love it. I love it.
I said I went higher, but I'm interested. I said 9.
I feel like Carrie just wants to make sure she has to see this.
I'm
film.
John
Done.
Harrison says 7.5.
I
Yeah,
went
Olivia Colman. Thank you. That's her name. She was on the
Broadchurch.
and Night Manager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Which we did. You can check that on
That's
the
why I was-
AfterBuzz archives. Yes. 3.5 is where I went.
Okay.
There you go. Amy's, please look at Amy's face, everyone. Just the look that she was having, and she was just kind of really thinking, like, I have to maybe go see this movie now. What am I going to do with my life?
Daniel in the chat says 7.9. All right.
Oh.
And then you were kind of asking about the favorite. Great. I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong, but Great in the chat says favorite is Nuts. It's less LOL and more farcical chuckling. Yeah, the way the trailer plays, it seems kind of more dark humor. Mm-hmm. Nano22 says 7. All right.
All right. So, folks, Anthony, if you could just give us one last shot of Amy's face as she kind of just laments her position right now. I like it. It's great.
Yeah.
If we could just push in just really close.
What if I just get closer? How's that?
Oh,
right.
man.
That's weird.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this episode of Box Office Breakdown. But as always, like us on Facebook, give us those 5 stars on iTunes, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and give it a thumbs up, or 2, or 3, or 4, however many thumbs you can throw up on there.
Woo!
And thanks everybody for happening in the chat. But Kari, if they're watching after we stream live, what can they do?
Yes, please join the discussion. Comment down below on the movies we saw, that we talked about. If you saw other ones and we didn't get to talk about them, let us know your thoughts.
And, and also comment on when and where Amy should go see Mary Queen of Scots.
No, good one.
Yes.
You've been watching a bunch of Christmas movies.
Yeah. We'll touch on those more next week because I've seen a lot, and I'm sure I will have seen more by then.
Favorite one?
I can't, but I can tell you that I finally watched Book Club, which I needed to watch.
Yay!
It's part of a bet. So
There you go. Look at that, Star Drew. Amy Cassandra Martinez honoring her commitments.
thanks.
But if you want to get in touch with any of us, even after the show's off the air, Anthony, where can they find you, sir?
Yes. Hello. You can find me everywhere at Tony B Tony _ TONY letter B TONY _ yes, and also catch us. Well, we're on hiatus right now, but catch our Instagram page of Horror News PTN, found at Horror News PTN, for our horror movie news updates on social media. I'm trying to revamp that, so just trying to get the word out there. We also have a Twitter, same name.
When do you guys come back?
New Year.
Oh,
Unless we have interviews, but yes.
okay.
Cool. Yes, Kari.
No,
you had something
that was
important
it.
to say?
No, the other one was Cassandra G says 4.2. So just saying a couple other numbers. Thank you, everybody who joined us in the live chat, and we still love you, even if you didn't watch it live.
Kari's really got some really invested in these box office numbers.
We're having a lot of new people chiming in.
I love it. That's
Thank
great.
you so much.
Amy, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on all social media at Amy Cassandra MTZ.
Nailed it.
Yay!
There was a slight delay. You hear that?
I
It's
did.
okay.
He's
I
like,
will take it. Thank you.
And my name is Kari Lane. You can find me online at Kari D Lane. That's KARIDLANE. And our anime after show, we are also on hiatus to the new year. We just finished all of season 1 of Soul Eater, so you can go watch that on the AfterBuzz animation channel, and we'll pick up season 2 in January. And we also did an unboxing on our video, so go check it out.
Oh, how exciting. Ladies and gentlemen, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HappyGoJackie. You know what? I love you folks, so I never take a hiatus because I'm committed to you. Not like some of these cowards here.
Hey, we're here, aren't we?
Rude.
Right?
Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HappyGoJackie. Folks, we'll be back again next week because we are committed on this show to giving you that hot box office content that you deserve, nay, demand every single week.
Nay.
We'll see you back here next Sunday with another episode of Box Office Breakdown right here on Popcorn Talk. Go see some movies.
Bye. He said nay.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.